Now,
Yes, ma'am. Now it's good.
hello everybody. My name is Dr. Neha Hamilton, and we are covering this subject called sports marketing and merchandising. And today we are going to start with new topic, which is customer perception. So, the lecture objectives of today's class are we are going to do comparison of marks. We are going to understand the basics of perception. Then we are going to understand the dynamics of perception. What are the various elements which are involved in perception? What is consumer imagery? Okay, positioning of products and perceived risks. So these are the things that we are going to cover in today's class of customer perception. Before starting with perception, I have a question to ask, right? And this question is whether the center circle are same in size. If I ask you this question, what will you say? Whether the center circles are same in size or not?
No, ma'am.
No, right? So this is your perception that the center circle are different in size. By preliminary examination, you have seen them very carefully and you have seen that they are not equal in size. That is what we have observed and that is what we have noticed. My second question is whether the lengthy lines are parallel. Do you think these lines are parallel? What is your answer? These are like parallel or not?
No,
मैम
ma'am.
ऑल्टरनेटिव और पैरेलल नॉट सिमिलर मतलब जैसे एक छोड़ के एक पैरेलल होगा मैम.
Okay. Ria, what about you?
Ma'am, I think they're not parallel.
Okay. Francine, what about you?
Ma'am, the alternates are parallel.
Okay. But I can see that lines are parallel because if you see the horizontal lines, they all are perfectly parallel to each other, right?
Yes
Yes,
मैम.
ma'am.
If you see the vertical lines, yes, they may not be exactly parallel. This means my and your perception is different. I see some different things in a picture, you see some different things in a picture, right? Now, my next question is tell me which one is lengthy, whether it is A or B. Which line has more length in terms of centimeter?
Ma'am, A.
मैम both are same.
Okay, so Ria is saying A and the other
Ma'am, can
person
you
is
please
saying
repeat the question?
the question is written on the slide. Which one is lengthy?
मैम both are same in length.
Both are same in length, right? So your perception is different. Ria is saying something else. Razin is saying something else. Vijay is saying something else. I also think that they are different, right? So our perceptions can differ. The basic motive of giving you these small problems are to make you understand that if I show you a similar thing, you can think differently. I have shown you a single picture, but you all are thinking differently. So that is what is the basic soul of perception. Perception
मैम
is
what
a
is the answer
process.
of previous question?
There is no answer. That is what I'm trying to explain. There is no answer of any question. The motive uh, of please mute yourself, Vijay. So the motive of showing you these all pictures are to make you understand that even if I show you the same picture, we can have different answers, we can have different thought process, right? You can give me 10 reasons why this is right, I can give you 10 reasons why this is not right or this is wrong. So that is what perception is. It is difference in the thinking, way of looking at things is different. So the process by which an individual selects, organizes, and interprets stimuli into meaningful and coherent picture of the world. So what is the perception? Perception is a process by which individuals select. Select means you select some objects in a particular picture. For example, you all have selected the vertical lines, but I have selected the horizontal lines, right? So the first thing in perception is when you select. Next is you organize in your mind. In this picture, you have organized in your mind that okay, this line and this line are not on a same angle, so they are not parallel. This line is again not on a same angle, so this is not parallel, right? This angle is lower as compared to this angle, so these are not parallel. So this is something that you are organizing in your mind. Then interprets. Then you have interpreted. You have come up with the answer that ma'am, these lines are not parallel. So this process is called as perception. What is perception? The process by which individual selects, organizes, and interprets the stimuli into a meaningful and coherent picture of the world. Right? So you make
ma'am. But
a picture.
in excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes.
but in first picture we can say that the person will think differently in first image. But in second image which you have shown that arrows, तो मैम उसमें तो मैम फर्स्ट वाली इमेज में तो एरो अंदर है और सेकंड वाले में एरो बाहर है, तो वो दोनों लेंथ में तो सेम ही हुई ना, तो मैम तो लेंथ तो उनकी सेम ही होगी ना एक तरीके से, अपन इसको किसी भी एंगल से देखें तो उनकी लेंथ तो सेम ही होगी ना.
See, Vijay, you are not understanding what I'm trying to explain, first of all. And second of all, try to speak in English in the class, okay? The thing
Okay,
is,
ma'am.
right, the thing that I'm trying to explain you is not about the centimeters, which one is same, which one is different. There is no correct answer, right? There is no correct answer. I can think differently, you can think differently, we can come up with some other conclusions. But the motive of showing you these pictures are because you have all given different answers. That means we all think differently. Okay, we all think differently, and we very firmly believe that we are right. Right? For example, Vijay has just unmuted yourself and he has very firmly presented that this is what I feel and this is correct because he wanted to show that he is correct. So this is happening in all of our minds. We all think that we are correct, but there is no right and there is no wrong in perception. We have to understand that this is my opinion, this is his opinion. For example, instead of showing you lines, I can show you a picture also, right? I can show you a picture also, and you can come up with a story also. So, in that story, can you say that my story is right and your story is wrong? Or, for example, Vijay's story is right and Ria's story is wrong. We cannot say that. You are two different people with different perceptions, and you have different stimuli in a particular picture. What is going on right in front of you? So, what is dynamics of perception? These are the four golden words that we need to remember: sensation, stimulus, sensory receptors, and the absolute threshold. What is sensation? The immediate and direct response of the sensory organs to the stimuli. So, for me, the stimuli can be different. For you, the stimuli can be different. For example, when you see a packaging, for you, vibrant colors and more youthful colors can attract you. When I see a packaging, the more the contents of that particular thing should be healthy, because as a mother I have to take care of my family, as a wife I have to take care of my husband. So my stimuli, my sensation is different as compared to yours, right? So that is called as sensation. Next is stimuli. Stimuli is any unit of input to any of the senses. So if I see the word healthy, right, on a packaging, that is something that will become stimuli to me, right? If you see something like, for example, you are a person, you love a spicy food, so if you see spicy, that becomes stimuli for you. Next we have sensory receptors. Sensory receptors are the organs which can catch the stimuli or observe the stimuli. So we have eyes, we have ears, we have nose, mouth, and skin. Eyes, through eyes we see advertisements, we see packaging. Through ears we get to hear the the advertisements, we get to hear the qualities of a product. Nose, through nose we can smell, the thing that attracts you, the fragrance that attracts you. Mouth and skin, right? So these are some sensory receptors that help us to perceive about a particular thing. For example, if I am taking a frozen product and if I don't smell it good at the shop itself, if I open the refrigerator in a shop and I don't get a good or fresh smell, I am going to put it back. Especially when you are taking non-veg product, for example, you are taking seafood. The freshness is very important in seafood, right? So if you think that it is not good, you are not going to take it. So my purchase decision I am taking on the basis of my nose as a sensory receptor. The absolute threshold, the lowest level at which an individual can experience a sensation, detecting difference between something and nothing. Absolute threshold means the smallest point through which you can notice anything. Because you will notice that whenever you are going out, you are traveling, there are a lot of things which are happening around you. So, what is the smallest thing that can grab your attention or focus becomes the absolute threshold, right? For example, if you are, uh, you are an employee of the organization, and in your mind, holiday is going on, Diwali is going to come, and you are in this holiday mode. And if somebody tells you about holidays, so it instantly attracts your attention, right? For example, you are listening to somebody and you are just listening. But when it comes to something that attracts your attention, whatever is already going in your mind and that comes in front of you, so that attracts your attention. So that is called as absolute threshold. So these are the things that we need to remember are the dynamics of perception. We have sensation, we have stimulus, we have sensory receptors, and we have absolute threshold. We have sensory adaption also. Sensory adaption means getting used to certain things or getting used to certain senses. That is called as sensory adaption. The different threshold, minimal difference detected between two different stimuli. That is called as differential threshold. Means if you have two different stimuli at the same time, that to which stimuli you uh, you show your attention or you show your response or you show your action, that is called as the differential threshold. Then we have marketing applications. Negative chances are not readily seen. Positive changes are clearly seen. When I talk about negative changes, for example, you are doing a price rise to your product. That is not going to, uh, attract your customer attention. For example, the quality is not good of your product; it is declining. That is not going to change your customers. That is not going to catch your customers' attention. But if you are reducing the price, if you are starting any sale, if you are launching any new product, if you are giving any discount, so these are the stimuli which are definitely going to uh, uh, going to catch the customer's attention. Okay, so these are some packaging examples that are given in front of us. We have an old can of Coca-Cola and we have a new can of Coca-Cola. There is a very small difference. The Coca-Cola is written with more clarity here, right? So for somebody, this can be more attractive, the old can. For somebody, this can be more attractive, right? For me, the second one is more attractive because the color is brighter and Coca-Cola is written more clearly, right? When I show you the second example, here the packaging is very much similar, but one is unscented and the second is fragrance free. So almost, same kind of things are written. One is original care, second is long lasting. So anything can, uh, take your attention or grab your attention. For me, fragrance and unscented are same. I think I'll see that they are from 1970s. They are existing in the market from a long time. So I will close my eyes and take any of the product from this. Again, some examples of Campbell vegetable soups are given. These are some famous symbols that people are changing only to grab the people's attention or make uh, the memory of the brand image long lasting. People are doing changes, right? For example, if you see the logo of Shell, it has come a long way. They have started from 1900s, then 1904 their logo changed, then they have added color in 1948, and finally the logo that we see today looks like this. Same has happened with Ford Motors also. Now the logo that we see is like this, right? So, according to perception, in order to grab the attention of the customers and in order to reach to that threshold level, people keep on changing the contemporary styles on their logo. Now, the first concept that we are going to understand is called as subliminal perception, right? Now, subliminal perception, as the name indicates, that it is the message below the threshold level or below the conscious level, right? It takes place in movies. So when the threshold is shown to us and we do not notice it, that becomes subliminal perception, right? For example, you may have seen Kamal Hassan movies, right? So the example is given, then whenever you see Kamal Hassan movies and he is using a Motorola mobile phone or MRF tires, and he is even showing it the Motorola phone. But Kamal Hassan himself, he is so influencing, and when you are in a mood of watching a movie, you may not notice that Motorola mobile in his hand. You may not notice the brand of the phone that he is holding because he himself is the biggest stimuli. He is the biggest stimuli in front of you, right? So you are not going to notice that mobile phone that he is carrying. That's why when we see ads of biggest celebrities, they are holding the phone upright with their face and they are emphasizing the brand name again and again. They are saying that, take this insurance policy, I take this insurance policy because I also have a family, right? So they will take the brand name again and again, show you the logo or show you the product that they are endorsing to so that it surpasses your subliminal perception. Subliminal perception means you have noticed something, but the stimuli is so less that it has failed to grab your attention, or you have not even noticed that product. So that is called as subliminal perception. This happens when in a picture you have a lot of other things which are more important to you as compared to that small mobile phone, right? So if Kamal Hassan is holding a mobile phone and he's a very influential actor in South, you are not going to see that which brand mobile phone he's carrying. You are only watching Kamal Hassan and his heroic acts in the movie. So that is called as subliminal perception. Next is elements of perception. Elements of perception are perceptual selection, perceptual organization, and perceptual interpretation. Perceptual selection means you select the stimuli from a scene or from the picture. Stimuli get selected on two factors. Consumers' previous experience affect their expectation and motives at the time. So whatever are the experience in the life on the basis of which we select stimuli from the given situation. And what is the thing that is going in your mind right now, that also helps to select the stimuli from a particular movie or from a particular scene or from a particular scene of the real life, right? For example, you have gone for vaccination, right? And you are terrified of injections. So the only thing that is going on in your mind during vaccination is, oh, I'm going to get hurt, I'm going to get hurt, I'm going to get hurt. And from your previous experience also, when you have taken injections, you have had a very bad experiences. So whenever you will go to that particular site, you will only watch people getting hurt by taking injections. You will think that, oh, that person is getting hurt, oh, that person is getting hurt. Why? Because in your mind that thing is happening. For example, my friend, he is more concerned about the expiry date of the vaccination, the brand or to which they are vaccinated, because in his previous experience he has been encountered some event in which people have used expired medicine, or people are not using the correct things. So he will go to the help desk and he will inquire about the type of vaccines, he will inquire about the expiry date, he will ask them to show the medicine boxes so that he can confirm whether it is on expiry date or not. So that is called as perceptual selection. For me it is different, and for all of you it is different, right? It depends on nature of stimulus also. Nature of product, physical attributes, package design, brand name, advertisement, right? Choice of gender of the model, positioning, size of the ad, etc. So there are a lot of things that can capture your attention or your stimulus. For example, if you are a big fan of Virat Kohli and he is endorsing any brand, you are just going to follow him, and for you that is the biggest stimulus, right? For example, you are a feminist and you want to see, maybe a celebrity, a female celebrity, and if a female celebrity is endorsing a product, you are going to like it. So it depends on nature of motives. It depends on expectations. What are expectations? People see what they want to see based on the previous experience, familiarity, and preconditioned set of expectation. Marketers believe that high degree of sexuality creates more attention. So, what do you expect? Right? The male counterparts, they expect the female counterparts on the ads. The female counterparts, they expect the male counterparts. So, this is psychology. This is something which is natural. So, you have to take care of the expectations of the customers also. Right? For example, if you are using a fairness cream, if you are using a face for the fairness cream, then it has to be an actress who is really beautiful, having a fair skin. She can only endorse that product, and people are going to expect that, and they are only able to notice that if she is a female, and that too a good looking female, that too a female with a fair skin. Next is motives. People perceive the things they need and want. Stronger the need, the greater tendency to ignore the unrelated things. People who are obese see ads related to gyms and diets. So this happens, whatever issue in your life you are having, everything you will try to find everything there, right? For example, if in your life the example is given that if you're obese or you are overweight, then you want to manage this problem, so you are always looking for dietitians, you are always looking for ads. So if in a row there are four ads, right? On a hoarding there are four hoardings, one hoarding of a hotel, and one hoarding of a FMCG product, one hoarding of a TV show, and one hoarding of a gym. So you are directly going to see that gym ad, because right now you want to lose weight, you want to make yourself fit, and that is your primary motive right now, right? So whatever your motive, this also depends on the kind of your attention goes to. This also becomes the kind of stimuli that you are going to select. Then selective perception. In selective perception, you have selective exposure, selective attention, and perceptual defense. What is selective exposure? People look for present and sympathetic messages and avoid painful and threatening ones. Selective attention, people look into ads that will satisfy their needs. Perceptual defense, people avoid psychologically threatening ones and constantly change the ad nature, right? So we generally, as per psychologists, this is something that is shown in research, that in selective exposure you always try to find positivity, you always try to look for good things, the things which are pleasant, the things which are good, right? For example, you are watching news, you are getting five negative news in a row and one positive news. So by watching that one positive news, your attention is going to go there and you are going to listen to it carefully, because as a human being, pleasant, positive things, sympathetic messages grab your attention more as compared to the painful news or something which is negative. Selective attention, people look into ads that will satisfy their need. So whatever need I am having right now, I will look for that kind of ad. For example, if I'm obese right now, I a gym ad or a nutritionist ad is going to grab my attention. If I want to go for my higher studies, in every magazine, in every TV, I will look for ad of colleges, I will look for ad for universities or schools or study overseas. Right? These are the things that are going to grab my attention. For example, if I am a middle-aged person and I have a lot of medical needs, so I will be always looking for a good doctor, good hospital, good healthcare facilities, online medicine services, these kind of things. So it depends on you that what phase of life you are in what kind of needs you are having, your attention will go there. Next is perceptual defense. People avoid psychologically threatening ones and constantly change the ad nature, right? So you you do not want to listen these things, right? You do not like these things. For example, whenever I see that smoking ad in which a lady is having a cancer, you must have seen that ad. A lady is having a cancer and they are removing her jaw and everything, and her son is saying that I have sold her bangles and I've taken, we are doing going for operation and all those things. So these are the things that hurts you, that changes your mood. You don't like these kind of acts. So these are called as perceptual defense. You do not want to notice this. Defense means you are being defensive. You do not want to notice these kind of ads which are negative. Next is perceptual blocking. People block stimuli which is bombarded. Bombarded means when you overdo things. Overdo things means if you are showing a ad 100 times a day, then also I will get irritated and I will ignore that ad. That is called as perceptual blocking. For example, if I'm getting a call from Airtel again and again and again, instead of perceptual blocking, I'll block that number on my phone only, right? So that is perceptual blocking. You block stimuli which is bombarded to you again and again, time to time, frequently. So, till now, what we have covered selective perception or perceptual selection, right? So, perceptual selection depends on nature of stimuli. Nature of stimuli means if a stimuli is something that grabs your attention, expectations, motives, right? And in selective perception, these are the things that happen: selective exposure, selective attention, perceptual defense, and perceptual blocking. Then we have perceptual organization. People see everything as a whole, and according to Gestalt psychology, we have different things. We have figure and ground, we have grouping, and we have closure. So when I see figure and ground means whenever we see a picture or an image, we make something as a star of that image that becomes figure, and rest of the things become ground. For example, if you are watching, four or five people dancing, and if you like one person the most, for example, Aishwarya Rai is dancing with four other side actor and actresses. So Aishwarya Rai will become figure to you, and rest of the people, for example, they will become ground to you. If they are dancing near a seashore, that seashore will become ground to you, and Aishwarya Rai will become figure to you. Then you tend to group objects. Group objects means you will group that, okay, five people are dancing, so there are human beings who are dancing, and the rest is a scenery or the natural scenery. And then closure means you come on a conclusion that Aishwarya Rai has gone on a holiday with four other people, and she is holidaying, and this is the picture of which I am seeing. So you give a meaning to yourself in your mind, and that is called as closure. Figure and ground in product placement. So you use figure and ground strategy in the product placement. You will certainly notice Coke is kept here because they are seeing that particular, they are showing that particular glass and that logo in front of you. So for you, figure can be, two things. The first thing can be the Coke glasses. The other thing can be celebrities who are sitting and enjoying. What is the ground? The table, the chair, the background, the American Idol, which is written. So it all becomes background, right? So whenever we made a hoarding, we make a hoarding or we make ads, we always try to make the product as the figure, as the star of the scenery, and rest of the thing as ground. Okay. So if I ask you, what do you see in this? What will you say? You have a figure in front of you. What do you see in this figure?
Ma'am, there are two faces
There are two
opposite each
faces.
other. Yes, ma'am.
Op- There are two faces which are opposite to each other. Very good. But I actually see a flower vase. If you can see, it can also become a flower vase also.
Yes, ma'am.
Or and you can see two phases also. The first thing that Tessin has seen and the first thing that I have seen are different, right? For me, this figure is the flower vase. For Tessin, the figure are two faces, right? So for two of us, the figure and the ground is different in this picture, right? The next thing that comes after figure and ground is called as grouping. Now, grouping means I will make two groups in this picture. One group can be the couple who is standing here. The other group can be the Nescafe coffee, right? So I can make two groups here. So grouping is you tend to club objects in group. You tend to make groups in your mind on the basis of similarity in a particular picture. So these two are humans. So I'm assuming they are couple, they are enjoying over a cup of coffee. So I will make them as group number one. Group number two is this beautiful coffee jar that they are showing me, right? So that becomes group number two. Okay, so you want to make less number of groups on the hoarding or in the ad so that people notice that thing. If there is a lot of clutter, for example, instead of two people, five people are standing there and two people are standing there, and there are some cartoons also, animations also, and there are some four different kind of coffees also, then there are less probability that the customer is going to notice your product or the kind of message you want to convey. Here I can clearly see that richer aroma is written because the screen is clean, the picture is clean. Very less amount of things are there on the screen. Next point is law of closure, right? After figure and ground and grouping, I come to closure. Now, what is closure? Objects grouped together are seen as a whole. We tend to ignore gaps and complete contoured lines. In the image above, there is no triangle or circle, but our minds will fill in the missing information to create similar images, right? So what do? We tend to close it and find out an inference with it. In this figure, you can see that the figure is incomplete, right? This line is incomplete, this line is incomplete, this line is incomplete. But in our mind, we will see that two triangles are intersecting, right? Without saying anything, whatever your mind has made out of this figure, I am telling you that you will see two intersecting triangles. One is the inverted triangles, and on the edges of the inverted one, we have some circles. The figure is not complete again, but whenever you see this image, you will close this image or you will complete that image. Now we have come to perceptual interpretation. Stimulus are often highly ambiguous or weak, right? So, whatever stimulus we got, if that stimulus is very weak, we sometimes see a ad which are very complicated. So it becomes difficult for us as a customer to decode what the marketer is actually trying to say, right? So this becomes the first point in perceptual interpretation when stimulus are often highly ambiguous or weak. Next point is stereotypes. What are stereotypes? Stereotypes means having a particular image about a particular group, and when we are generalizing that image or that philosophy to all of the people. For example, if you have seen that movie, My Name is Khan, right? So that doesn't mean that whatever image we have of a particular community, we imply that to the rest of the people also. So that is called as stereotypes. Okay. Next is called as physical appearance, descriptive terms, first impression, and halo effect. We are going to understand this one by one in perceptual interpretation. People carrying biased pictures in their minds of the meaning of various stimuli. So we have biases in our mind for various things because we carry the group characteristics or group feature with and we generalize it with the people. People hold meaning related to stimuli. Stereotypes influence how stimuli are perceived, right? Bias in UCP. So, for example, I'll give you some other example. For example, uh, I have this stereotype in my mind that whatever products are manufactured outside or the overseas products, they are having good quality as compared to the Indian products. So I will always favor MNC companies or products which are multinational as compared to my national products. Why? Because I have this stereotype in my mind that Indian products are or not of good quality. Why? Because I had a bad experience earlier. So on the basis of my earlier bad experience, I'm generalizing that all the Indian products are not good. So whenever I'm taking anything, I'm looking for some products which are foreign made or which are foreign imported, right? So this is called as stereotypes. Next is physical appearances. People associate quality with people in the ads. Attractive models have positive influence. For example, the colors of juices, the packages that you see in the advertisements are sometimes not realistic, right? So, these physical appearances also you know also are projected on the sales of a particular ad. For example, if you are seeing a normal housewife in an ad and in the other ad you are seeing Katrina Kaif, so that Katrina Kaif ad is definitely going to attract your focus, attract your attention as compared to the other ad in which a simple housewife is being used, right? So the thing which looks more attractive to us, that we tend to focus on, that we tend to take as a stimuli. Next point is first impressions. First impressions are lasting. The perceiver is trying to determine which stimuli is relevant, important, or predictive. So another thing that comes is first impression. So it is always being told that first impression is the last impression, but psychologists have actually proved that if your first experience of a particular product is not good, you are not going to take it again. You are not going to take a chance. If the first impression of a particular ad that you are being shown, you do not like it, so maybe you will carry a negative image all through your life for that particular product. So that is called as first impression. So try to always make positive kind of image, good kind of image for your product. So and good first consumption of that product. Next is halo effect. Consumers perceive and evaluate product or service or even product line based on just one dimension. So, what do we do generally? This is a general perceptual error also. Halo effect means on the basis of just one quality or one feature, we judge the whole thing, right? So, for example, if I give you an example, that Virat Kohli is a good person or Aishwarya Rai is a good person. How can I say that? Only because he is exceptionally good in in his profession or she is exceptionally beautiful, that doesn't mean that they are overall a good person. I'm not against any of them. I'm just giving you example that only judging the whole individual by a single feature. You do not know what kind of father he is. You do not know what kind of person he actually is because you have never lived with him. What kind of husband, what kind of son he is because you have never lived with him. You are listening what media is saying. So saying overall that he's a good person can be a wrong statement. You are judging him on the basis of a single characteristics, and that is that he's exceptionally good at one thing. We tend to do this when it comes to products also. We tend to judge the overall product line of a particular company through just one product. For example, Toyota is known for quality, Ford is known for safety, Sony is known for music quality. So, we may not prefer a Sony laptop if you're looking for a work laptop. You may prefer a Sony laptop if you're looking for a multimedia laptop, right? So this is called as halo effect. So companies should keep this thing in mind that when they are positioning the product, making an image of the product, these are the things that they should always consider. Okay, now this consumer imagery we will cover in the next class. I think that's enough for today. We have covered what are the various perceptual errors. We have covered the concept of perception. Now I will take attendance. Do you use electron? Okay. Bindu is absent. No, Bindu is present. Okay. Ria,
Yes,
Ria
I'm
is present.
Present, ma'am.
Rajin is present. Vijay is present. Gangotri, absent. Alka and Nikusha is also absent. Okay, thank you so much for joining. I am ending the recording now.